Most people think that changing their life takes years, and sure, long-term success, it does take time. But change itself, that can actually happen very fast. And in fact, 7 days is definitely enough to completely refocus your mind, build momentum, and to start turning up as a completely different version of yourself. And this video, it's not about hacks or unrealistic overnight success. It's about one really focused week that sets a new standard for how you'll live. Because once you start moving differently, thinking differently, and choosing differently, you are different. So if you've ever felt stuck in a negative spiral or like your life is drifting, give me 7 days because I will walk you through exactly what to do to reset your habits, refocus your mind, and to start taking real action towards a life that you want to live. Okay, day one is about building the non-negotiables. And don't worry, I'm not going to give you 15 different habits here that include, meditation, journaling, and cold plunges. This is all just about 3 non-negotiable habits. And these 3 habits are exercise, sleep, and diet, because these really are the foundations here. And without these things, everything else, it really does just fall away. And making sure to prioritize these things is gonna be how you actually feel good, feel energetic, and feel motivated to do some of the things that you wanna do. And so there's a few things that I want you to do here. So for sleep, I just want you to choose a consistent sleep and wake time that you stick to each day. And ideally also you will be getting a good amount of sleep. So that will be around 7 to 9 hours each night, I would imagine, for most people. For exercise, I need you to be doing some sort of exercise and moving every day. And you can kind of make this as extreme as you want, but as a minimum, I want you to be doing at least 20 to 30 minutes of some sort of movement and some sort of exercise each day. And then for your diet, you just need to clean this up. I mean, you just need to be eating good, nutritious food, trying to get a good amount of protein in, making sure you're eating enough calories, but not too much, and just being very consistent with that. Because truly, these things, they really are the non-negotiables. And without them, everything else is gonna be almost impossible to do. So make sure you are prioritizing these things and you are doing them consistently every day this week and really forevermore. Day 2 is about getting clear on your vision and your life. And so after day 1, we're now fueling our body correctly, and now it's time to direct our mind. And so firstly, what we want to do here is to really try and get clear on the type of life that we want. And so really just ask yourself, like, what would your life look like if nothing was holding you back, if you had no constraints? And really try to be as specific with this as possible. I mean, what sort of work would you be doing? Like, what work would be giving you enjoyment? Who would be the type of people that you'd be hanging out with and who you wouldn't be hanging out with? Where would you be in life? I mean, what sort of location would you like to be on? And so on. And really just try to think about those things very carefully and be as specific as you can with them. Then try to audit your current life and, think about, again, sort of the people that you hang around with and what your habits look like and how your routines are, and try to think about sort of what out of these things are actually making you feel good and what are actually draining your energy. And then once you've got a little bit clear on your current life, also then try to think about how that is currently relating to your vision of your life and what out of your current things are really out of alignment with how you want your life to be. And then from there, finally here, what I want you to do is to write down 3 things that you want to stop and 3 things that you want to start. And these will really be your roadmap for the next few days. Day 3 and 5, and it's all about taking bold action based on your vision. And this is where we're really going to start building momentum and seeing how capable we actually are towards things. And so on these days, what I want you to do here is, out of the 3 things you said you wanted to stop and start, I want you to pick 1 thing to stop and 1 thing to start each day. And we are going to immediately start progressing towards these things. Because what you need to realize is that your circumstances, they're not going to change unless you are willing to change yourself. And to change, you need to actually take action. Because if you don't take action, you are just going to continue to remain exactly where you are and to remain at baseline. And your circumstances are never going to change. So what we need here, in terms of the thing each day that we're going to try and stop, if you can literally just stop it straight away and immediately, then do that. And just be confident in that decision. If it is quite a big thing that you need to stop, maybe you need to sort of break this down into what we're going to talk about with the action steps, which is that for the action steps, I think what you need to try and do here is to really try to break them down into small, manageable actions that will be more achievable for you to do. Like if you had as an action that you want to go and run a marathon, on this day, I'm not going to ask you to go and run a marathon, but instead I would just try to say, go and run 10 minutes outside or some sort of small distance that is within your capabilities, because from there you will see that you actually are able to do some of these things, and it will help you to build confidence in yourself and your abilities, and you would start to build momentum, and we can progress these actions from there all the way up till eventually where we will then be able to do the marathon. And so what we're trying to do here is really just to actually start taking some of these action steps, but it's really just about stacking these small wins and seeing that we are the type of person that can do these things and building that momentum for ourselves, which will help with our confidence and belief in ourselves. And then we can progress things from there. Day 6 is about designing your ideal routine and environment, because throughout this first part of the week, we will have taken real action. But I think without having a supportive structure in place, it will be easy for you to lose momentum and maybe fall back into some of your more negative tendencies or habits. And so it will take a little bit of time here to really work through all of this. But what we're really trying to do here is to just create routines for yourselves, and also to build an environment that is ultimately going to make things as easy for you to actually achieve the things that you want to do and to be able to live that life that you want to live. And so firstly, what we want to do here is to try to really create a simple routine that is going to allow us to do all of the things that we want to do. And I try to do this on day 6, maybe for like the next 30 days of your life. And for me personally, I'm a big fan of like time blocking as much as your time as possible, and kind of really setting out within like a calendar all of the things that you want to do. And so that might be an approach that you could take. But there's going to be different ways that you could do things. I mean, maybe you want to have a really focused morning routine, or maybe it's more of an evening routine for you, or maybe you're the type of person that knows that there's certain parts of the day where you feel more energized, and they're going to be parts of the day that are going to be better for you to do like real focused work. And so it's just about trying to kind of think through all of these things and then creating that routine for yourself as best as possible. And then the second thing we want to do here is to really try to optimize our environment as best as possible, because our habits really are shaped by our environment and the things around us. And so what we want to be doing here is really trying to make good habits kind of as easy to do as possible, and bad habits, we want to make them quite hard to do. So for instance, you know, if you're wanting to do real focus work and you feel that you kind of need simplicity around you, like make sure that your desk is neat and tidy, and that's going to make it easier for you to be productive and in a better mood when you actually go to work. Or if you decide that you want to read more, maybe just literally put a book by your bedside table. Or on the flip side, like when it comes to bad habits, like if you are someone that's going on your phone way too much and wasting too much time on your phone, maybe try to change some of the settings so that you have limits on the amount of time that you can go on apps, or it just becomes harder for you to get on your phone. Or maybe literally like leave your phone in another room if you're trying to do work, say. And day 7 is all about reflecting and recommitting. And it's great, you've made it to the end of the week, and hopefully now you are going to be feeling way better from all of the healthy habits that you will have been implementing, and you will have also created real clarity in your life, and you will have started taking action, and you will have started building momentum. And so now it's all about locking in and recommitting to these things. And so ultimately, to continue to do all of these things, you kind of need to instill discipline within yourself to continue progressing along the way that you are. And so what I would do here is to really try to focus on identity and the type of identity that you want to have. And what I would do here is to think about the identity of the person that you were 7 days ago, when you were in that negative spiral and not doing much and stuck in a little bit of a funk. And then really start to think about the identity of the person that is ultimately going to be living the life that you want to live and be doing all of those things that you want to do. And to realize that to be that person, you need to continue along with all of these actions that we've started to create and that we're starting to implement, and that you don't want to be the person that was doing those things 7 days prior and being stuck in that negative spiral. And so think about that identity and then really use it as fuel to continue along with all of those actions that you need to do to achieve that identity that you want to have. So there you have it. Simple but effective. And honestly, doing these things can completely transform how you are as a person within that 7 day period, and it can really set you up for a successful pathway forwards. I hope you found this video useful. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.